A few weeks ago, I went to an amazing event held by Bashar, a channeled entity. And I had such an amazing experience talking about manifestations, surrender, my pregnancy, and so much has followed after that I'm super excited for you today to learn about the highlights about my hot seat experience and just in general to feel more clear about the process of manifestation and how to allow what you want into your life. There's so much that I want to share with you. So let me start with saying that Bashar is channeled by Daryl Anka. If you've heard me talk about Abraham-Hicks, which if you've been listening for a while, I have talked about them a lot. It's another channel. Bashar is a little weirder, talks about extraterrestrials and all that stuff. You can look into it yourself. I'll make sure to include a link below. But in short, I don't really listen to some of the esoteric things. I really love the practical understanding and awareness about manifestation, changing our mindset, changing our beliefs, and creating what we want in our life. And I have so much to tell you today. I have notes. So if you see me looking over here, it's because I'm looking at notes. So the first thing I wanted to share is what Bashar opened the event with, and it was the AAA manifestation formula. Acknowledge, appreciate, and allow. So acknowledge, he was saying that if you can stop and acknowledge even just a tiny glimmer of a manifestation. For example, a glimmer would be something like you open your Facebook feed and you see somebody celebrating something that you really, really want. That's a glimmer. Or if you have a little hint of it show up in your life, maybe not the full-blown manifestation. But what he was saying is that this step is crucial. And Abraham has talked about this a lot. A lot of people have talked about it a lot. Is that when you acknowledge what's happening, when you focus on it, you naturally amplify and attract more of it. Now, the second step, appreciate, adds energy to this manifestation. So acknowledging is just noticing. Appreciating is saying, oh my God, this is amazing. I love it. I've been waiting for this. It's incredible the way that it's flown in. And it amplifies allowing not just for that particular manifestation or desire, but for all of the things that you want in your life. And the third step is allow. And what I loved about Bashar's explanation on allowing, actually the whole evening event was titled something about allowing, is that allowing actually naturally happens when you acknowledge and appreciate. When you do step 1 and 2, allowing happens naturally. You can't help but already be opening up the doors, opening up your arms, opening up your heart to receive all the manifestations that you've been asking for. Both specific manifestations like a car, a house, a mate, a career, a new job, a move, or whatever, but also the emotional manifestations like just feeling better in your life. And when you can deliberately learn to allow, do steps 1, 2, and 3 of this AAA manifestation formula, then your manifestations become more amplified, more accelerated, and more synchronistic. So one thing that he said, that if instead of celebrating, basking, and appreciating each of those big or small, tiny manifestations, you are moving right on to what's next, what's coming next, I want more, without really pausing and super basking in it, then you are literally slowing down future manifestations. Don't be in a hurry to get more. Sit with what you have. One step leads to the next. And one thing that he emphasized, and I'll talk about my interaction, my hot seat, for me was that this process is automatic and natural. Don't get in the way, basically. Get out of the way and it will happen naturally. So the way that Bashar's hot seat experience works, it's actually a hot stand because you're standing and talking in the microphone, is before the workshop, you put your name, if you want to be called, into a little bowl and they collect all the names. And then they pull out, I think, maybe 10 names. And then you can go up in any order you want. I was not attached to being called. As you know, I've been in the hot seat with Abraham, I think 4, maybe 5 times. I think 4 times. And I know how to allow that. And so I was the first one chosen and I was the first one to go up, which was really fun. I wasn't nervous at all, but I felt a lot of energy, the same way that I feel in the Abraham hot seat. There was a lot of energy moving through me. At one point, I actually wanted to like straighten my legs because my knees were shaking a little bit because I wasn't sitting like I'm used to in a hot seat. I was standing and I really had to like hold myself up. So the first question I asked was about conscious and deliberate surrender. How can we really do this on purpose? And he said a brilliant answer. Surrender is actually allowing control. Because you're already in control. When you believe you have to make things happen, when you force them instead of allowing them, you actually feel you are not in control, that things won't work out automatically. When you surrender, you acknowledge that things are already perfectly under control, and so they flow. Ooh, that was so good. That was music to my ears. Some of this is verbatim from Bashar. Some of it is my own interpretation. He was saying that focusing on the AAA formula gives something to focus on and having this feeling of control. That was my question. I said, is this formula just a good way for me to practice having something to do while all of this manifestation happens automatically? And he said, yes. It's designed so that you give your physical mind the steering wheel and allowing it to relax when it thinks it has control. And then he made everyone laugh by saying, but the truth is that wheel is not connected to anything. It's not connected to the engine. So you have this illusion of driving, but really it's just an excuse to allow. So anytime you focus on anything that feels good, you are allowing and you're giving yourself permission slip for everything that you've asked for consciously and subconsciously to flow in. And he really emphasized that you can step into this feeling of feeling in control and well-being because it's the only thing that matters to open up that door for that mechanism. That's the permission slip. Do whatever it takes to feel good, basically, to allow, to receive, to bask, to appreciate. The second hot seat question that I had for him was about masterminding, and I define it as two or more coming together with the same purpose. And as you know, I'm very passionate about masterminding. I've shared a lot about it. Actually, I have a couple of live masterminds that I'm doing in 2016, 1 day or 2 day events, and my GFY, my Get Full of Yourself membership participants get a chance to do online 6-week masterminds with me. So if you want more details, go to the section of the website titled Work With Me and you can learn more details. But anyway, I really love talking about it. And he said, the way that I define masterminding, he's like, call it synchronicity because it can and should happen spontaneously. If you enjoy creating this dedicated space as a permission slip, then it's valid and it works for you. But you certainly have a million ways to do it. That's why I always say mastermind if it feels fun for you, if it feels powerful. For me, it's been one of the greatest permission slips that I've ever had, right? Coming together with someone and talking about our visions and having someone facilitate, or in this case, me facilitate for others, has been so powerful, but it's not the only way, right? And he also, then we went on to pregnancy, which is masterminding with non-physical, right? And I asked him, why does pregnancy require so much change and so much surrender? By the way, if you don't know, I'm 4.5 months pregnant. This time with one baby. I already have twins. And he gave like the most amazing answer ever, that a child is not a child when you are pregnant with them. You are enveloped by a larger being that knows exactly who you are. By surrendering to this process of pregnancy, you are allowing that being to tell the story of the true you. Pregnancy is allowing that story to grow within you and become the new you, the new reality. The greater being, your child, is actually telling you who you are, what your agreements are in this lifetime and together. And by coming to terms with that, you will then be living in this new, more resonant version of your life. So basically, pregnancy is a chance to up-level and upgrade your life. And I've been saying that for a long time, but it was awesome to hear that and to have this vision of my baby enveloping me and holding me and supporting me. It also has that element of co-creation again, that element element of masterminding where I'm not supposed to take care of the baby, that there is this beautiful exchange always that happens. And then I asked kind of a question in jest, why only women get pregnant. Bashar said that on Earth here, it's a part of our story, and it gives us an opportunity to really experience more polarity. It doesn't have to be this way, but we use this because polarizing so strongly requires true commitment to balance ourselves. And that's another thing, right? During pregnancy, there's so much new desire to balance the masculine and the feminine. At least I feel that. So I asked him also about more permission slips to balance ourselves and to allow more. And he basically said the answer he always says: follow your highest excitement. Use that AAA formula, because that kit is activated. When that kit is activated, everything works automatically. Pay attention to your definitions and create definitions that work for you, right? And that's really what I've been teaching for forever and practicing for forever, is how to actually redefine how you want to look at life, because however you define it is what you will derive from it. So all in all, I had an amazing time at this event. The other thing I wanted to share that I loved about this Bashar event, and I think he does that at every event, and something that I find a little bit missing or lacking at Abraham-Hicks events, is that at the end, after all these questions, we had a chance to do this beautiful meditation, guided meditation, with something to look at, with these beautiful lights and this beautiful design. I had my eyes closed most of the time, but I really appreciate that time to integrate, because so much energy was flowing through me. There were so many visceral shifts that were happening, that to have that time to passively allow and really settle and integrate really created an awesome experience for me, that I woke up the next day and I didn't have any need to really integrate. And I noticed that after other events where I move a lot of energy, I actually require that downtime to integrate. So it was beautiful that it was built into the workshop. So now I'd love to know, do you understand this AAA formula? Are you practicing it in your life? Are you giving yourself the chance to acknowledge, appreciate, and allow? Also, have you been to Bashar events? Do you want to know more? Do you want to have any questions? I will make sure to answer anything and comment on everything that you post below. So I hope we have a wonderful discussion on this topic, and I hope that this gives you a better sense of what's truly possible for you. I know that's what it did for me. And also I hope you'll check out Bashar and check out my masterminds, and that we will have a chance to co-create in continuously more incredible ways. Many, many blessings.